Now we're going to get down to the nitty-gritty of what Indians are all about.
I still say we Indian people are believers in the truth. This is the way of life that was given to your people. You're born an Indian, you're going to die an Indian. Indianness is a good life. You're facing an Indian this afternoon.
Good Saturday afternoon out there, everyone, and welcome to your number one source for Native American television news. It's Native News Today. I'm Jason Salzman, along with the man of the hour, too sweet to be sour, Mr. Gerald Wofford, and glad to have you with us this week. Got a great program lined up. Gerald, glad to have you back.
Thank you. Well, at least a half hour there. So, always good to be back here, Jason, and always glad that you are here joining us always each week here on Native News Today. We feel like, as always, we got a great show lined up for you today.
Hey, a big week for Muskogee Creek Nation last week as we told you about the announcement with George Nye and visiting there. Also, at the back end of the week, a big double press conference on the lawn of the Council House Museum. Some great information disseminated there. And don't worry, folks, we're going to have that press conference for you dealing with two issues in Muskogee Creek Nation. Very big, both of them. One with our museum, a little bit of clarity there, and also Alt-Malgi Memorial Hospital and what Creek Nation's plans are there, and for the community of Alt-Malgi. Just a great story. We'll have that for you this week too.
Absolutely. Some great things happening out there in Creek Country. Jason, I know that you and Tyler, one of our cameramen here, have been traveling the highways and the byways, finding all those very important stories. And you know, Jason, here we are winding down the month of August, and it just seems like the month has just flown by, and we're already saying hello to September and cooler temperatures, I hope. Cooler
temperatures. It's been a little bit unseasonably mild for August. Usually it's when it's real hot, it doesn't rain. Flip the script this year. It's been a lot of rain, and it's been pretty mild out there. Can't complain other than the fact that I have to mow my grass every 4 days. I think everybody out there is not really happy about that as well as me, but hey, you know, it's one of those things you got to deal with. Nice having a little bit of moisture. Really good having a lot of water in the lake for all of us duck hunters for this year. It's going to be a great thing there. So, like I said, we have big news there. Also, the mobile command unit is what I call it. You know, the mobile unit for the Muskogee Creek Nation Division of Health had the ribbon cutting for that. It's a big deal there because this mobile unit, Gerald, is going to be able to provide medical services and help to citizens that sometimes have a hard time getting to our local medical facilities.
That's right. Always making it convenient for our citizens to obtain better health coverage and opportunities like that. Certainly one of the priorities of the tribe.
And if you can't get to health care, Creek Nation, we're going to bring health care to our citizens. We're going to bring it right to you. So that's going to be a great thing there. A lot of great comments from that. The event last week, talking to some of our health officials, and as well as some folks from the Hillcrest Health System that actually made the deal with Muskogee Creek Nation. So lots of great news, lots of things to cover on this week's episode. And as we say, we know you got a choice on Saturdays whenever you sit down in front of the television, start watching your shows, getting your programs lined out. We're glad that one of those choices that you make is right here with us on the CW19. So with all that, we're going to take our very first break. We'll be right back with Native News Today.
Jahojefkat Paul Fixakodos. Ilkanagat Tekobache, Mikusapkajokorman, Amikusapkajokodos. I'm able to preach in English and Muskogee, our language too, so you know, there's not many that does that today. When I was growing up, that's all we had, Muskogee language, and that's all they preach. I could talk my language when I was small. When I grew up, I could understand what they were saying. We don't want to lose that, language, especially our songs, our native songs and the Muskogee hymns. We want to keep them.
And welcome back to Native News Today. Jason Salzman, Gerald Wofford. And Jason, the Indian Country Business Summit happening again here in northeastern Oklahoma. Always a very important event. Native American business making themselves known, a very important part of business overall.
Yeah, and for the, last year I believe it was in Norman, west side of the state there, or actually central. For us, it's the west side of the state, just because the folks out in Woodward, we just think that's Texas almost. It's a ways out there. So, but for a little bit further west in Norman, and now this year bringing it back, having it at the Hard Rock Hotel. And Gerald, the reason I love the Indian Country Business Summit and stories like this is because it's an organization, the AICCO, the American Indian Chamber of Commerce of Oklahoma, It's an organization where lots of different people from lots of different tribes come together working together. And I think that's great. You know, you look at our Intertribal Council, how it's been revitalized. You look at organizations like AICCO, and where it's not just one tribe doing it, it's all different tribes coming together for one common goal. And they put on the Business Summit every year. It's a great thing, and we talked with some great people from the AICCO about the summit. The 2013 Indian Country Business Summit made Cherokee Nation's Hard Rock Hotel its home this week as the American Indian Chamber of Commerce of Oklahoma held its premier annual event.
The reason we're here is it's for networking for Indian-owned businesses to do business with each other, and then we invite the different tribes to come in.
AICCO President John Overacre talked about this year's summit and the sustained success of tribal businesses.
Even throughout our economy we've had during the past several years, the tribes are still spending money. We're still making money, whether it be from our businesses that are casinos or gas stations, or they're expanding into all different areas. So the tribes are still having money to expand. So there's always certain niches or certain things that our vendors can actually give and provide products and services to these tribes. And they can't do it all. We're just too big. All the tribes, you know, with the Cherokee Nation, the Muskogee Creek Nation, the Choctaws, the Chickasaws, we're too big for one vendor to handle. So it's nice that the tribes can actually cut different pieces of the pie and give to these vendors to help them not run their business and make their business successful, but help them have a better year than they were going to have. So that makes a huge difference.
The Chamber also has some headline news out of this year's event. Some big changes coming for the organization.
This will be the last year of the AICCO being banded with the Indian Country Business Summit. We are going those separate ways to do some different things. You know, as the AICCO board, we believe that if you're going to be doing business in Indian Country, all of your events that we host and have should be in Indian Country. So we're actually going to bounce around the state. Well, we'll be up here in the Northeast one year, the Southeast one year, South Central, and then we'll bounce over towards Central Oklahoma to Oklahoma City, so we can bounce everywhere else. We're trying to recruit new chapters up in the far Northeast so we can actually go up there to catch those tribes too. It's an exciting time. We're changing the name. We're changing a lot of the different outlooks and the speakers as we're going. We've actually did surveys here, and I think most people are filling them out this year, so we can actually bring in the most dynamic speakers for them to help their business grow for the upcoming year.
Overacre also talked about the events and happenings of the AICCO throughout the year.
We have different things at night, receptions. We do have annual meetings that will be coming up in November or December where the membership comes in. We also bring in speakers, for instance, the Chief Tiger. He's actually been a speaker at least once a year for us in the Tulsa area. We do have a chapter in Oklahoma City where they bring in different speakers. And as a board member, I try to hit different ones. They have meetings every month, and with my job it makes it kind of tough, but you know, I made it a goal for this next year that the board members are going to hit the different chapters each quarter. Deanna
Moore, who's the marketing manager for Intertribal Software Consultants, talked about the benefits of her business taking part in the summit.
One of the best things that I've learned about this show, because this is my first year in attendance, we are able to reinforce a lot of the rapport we have with our existing clients, and we're able to make business contacts with new clientele. We're able to showcase our new tribal software directly to people. We can do demos on site. And in this show, we've been able to make contact with so many decision makers. And so it's just the perfect blend.
You know, our biggest thing is for doing this, keeping everything together, it was like, again, what Chief Tiger said, we want to keep the Indian dollars in Indian Country to help the Indian people.
Jason, in the previous story you had mentioned Norman and some important things happening down there. Another important event happening down there related to Native Americans, a subject there. We want to talk about that now.
Yeah, the Norman Police Department actually coming to the Muskogee Creek Nation, offering a course through our Family Violence Prevention Program. They do a great job over there. Sean Partridge, Mitzi Pope, a lot of great people. Oh, yeah. Tanya, and just so many of them that make it work and put on these great events throughout the year. Walk a mile in her shoes, you know, and things like that. And so this is just another one of those things that they do throughout the year, offering this training. We thought it was very interesting. Norman PD comes down, teaches these classes, brings it right here into the heart of Creek Country. And we talked with Mitzi and, you know, really wanting to get Creek Nation employees, Creek Nation citizens in the area involved in these type of things, young ladies knowing how to defend themselves, knowing that you have a right to say no, things like that, making sure that they follow the steps and have the right equipment, they have the right knowledge on them for whenever these unfortunate situations arise. You never know if they're going to. It's better to have it in your tool belt, though, if they do. So a great class offered by our Family Violence Prevention.
We're having a 3-day training. It's an instructor course, and we've kind of designed it for law enforcement or people that are working with different groups of young people, particularly women and young ladies. But the training is called My Body, My Life, and it's put on by 2 officers from the Norman Police Department. This type of program is more of a preventative measure so that we as women, we know how to be more aware, whether it's aware of our surroundings or when we are going out with friends, or whether we're just going to Walmart, you know, late at night, just being aware of our surroundings so that we you know, just know that knowing that there's bad people out there, and knowing that there are ways that we can protect ourselves.
A lot of police departments, a lot of self-defense instructors teach women how to protect themselves. And about 20 years ago, the principal of our one high school back then was worried because he had heard a lot of stories about his girls being predated. They were being preyed upon by guys who were out of school, college guys, inappropriate relationships. And he came to me and he said, I know what your background is. You've been a school resource officer forever. The kids all know you. Would you do me a favor? Would you create a program to help my high school girls to stop being preyed upon by boys? I have 3 daughters, which is another big reason that I do this. And I realized, unfortunately, that I can't protect them. I can carry a gun, I can be a police officer, but I can't protect them 24 hours a day. And I started really thinking about that. And after that 4-year period, our school split up. When the split up occurred, that primary counselor went to the middle school level. And she and her principal there came back to me and said, we want this program at the middle school level. And I said, no, I can't. My oldest daughter's in middle school. And I don't want to believe that she could be preyed on. I'm going to protect her. And we had that discourse for quite a while. And after a bit, they came back to me with one statistic that has always stayed with me, and it's one of the biggest reasons I do this. 50% of all rape occurs before the age of 18. And when they told me that, I said, okay, I'll do it. When we empower a woman, we started out this way. We tell them that no is the most important word in the human language. It defines you as an individual because it sets every boundary that you have, both for people coming toward you and you going to other people. You're setting your limits by saying no. After we tell them that, we empower them. We try to explain to them why they have the right. Because it's their body and their life, you have the right to say no anytime you want. It's your right. It's your right to protect yourself. And quite honestly, being a dad, you better, because I'm not going to be there all the time. I've got to teach them that.
This class is real important to me. I'm real excited about it because it's teaching at a younger age, which normally hasn't been done anywhere, but I'm excited to teach it in the tribe because I think that it starts in the home. It starts very early on as far as what they're learning, what their behaviors are, and I'm just real excited to get that out there into our schools throughout our nation.
Our hope is that we can get as many of our employees here at the nation trained and certified to be instructors of the My Body, My Life course so that they can take this information out into the community and present it to, our young ladies that are, soon to be possibly getting into dating relationships, and also ladies that are graduating high school, going to college. The information is good for adult women as well because it's really an empowerment program and it talks about just safety in general for women. So we're hoping that we can get as many tribal employees, whether it's people from health or light horsemen, trained so that they can partner with us to take this information out into the communities.
Well, we love to bring you those health subjects here, and we've been telling you about how important it is for the tribe when they are able to provide those services to our citizens here, and this story certainly relates to that.
You know, Gerald, it's been such a big couple of weeks for the health system at Muskogee Creek Nation. First, a historic signing of George Nye, the first time ever a public university and a tribe have been involved in the transfer of title to a property, and so that was very historic. And also you look at what's going on with a brand new facility that's planned to be built in Okemah, also the takeover of the Okmulgee Memorial Hospital, and making that Muskogee Creek Nation owned, operated. Still going to be a community hospital. A lot of folks out there in Okmulgee worried when things like this happen. Oh, is it just going to be, you know, Creek citizens? The Creek Nation administration, all the folks in charge wanted to make sure everyone knew that it was definitely going to remain a community hospital. But now they're taking health care to the citizens, as I said, with the debut of a mobile unit for the health system. This will basically provide medical services in rural areas. Sometimes everybody can't get to our designated areas. So the ribbon cutting on the mobile unit for the health system at Creek Nation.
You know, we're excited to finally showcase the items we've been working on the past year, and especially with this unit, we've been very excited about this unit. And as we focus on the communities and what we're trying to improve the quality of care, and we have a lot of citizens that have transportation issues that it's hard for them to get to our facilities, and so we needed to come up with a way that we can reach those individuals. So this is just the first step, and so what we eventually hope to do after that is kind of develop a chronic care nursing program where we have a provider and a nurse that goes along with this, and we go into the homes. And so this is just the first step to reaching those individuals that aren't able to come to the clinics. And so in our great and bigger plan is to expand into a larger facility here. And like we said, with the acquisition of Okmulgee and George Nye, that has that foundation. You know, we spend over $10 million a year in contract health services. So our main goal is to bring those services here so they're available to everyone, and steady 60 to 80% of our citizens or our patients that come through our system. So our goal is to eliminate those contract health services that we send out, that secondary and tertiary care. And so that's the overall goal of why we're purchasing these items and expanding and rebuilding our facilities. And we got to be prepared for the Affordable Care Act. And so it's very important that we move the direction that we're moving toward.
Well, it is. We ran this unit as a mobile mammography unit for several years, and decided that we were going to stop that service. And we have a very strong relationship with the Muskogee Creek Nation. I'm a Creek citizen, and we wanted this unit to go to someone that would really be able to help the people improve the health care out here. So we're extremely excited and about what they're going to be using it for, and just to be part of it. Healthcare has many, many facets, and it all begins at the root level of prevention and where the patient lives. And they're going to utilize this van to do prevention activities, doing immunizations, taking care of people that can't travel into town, can't travel into Tulsa. So I think it's going to be of great value.
Jason, as we mentioned earlier, so many good things happening here in the Creek Nation. The purchase of the Okmulgee Hospital, and as well as an announcement of the Creek collection, the artifacts in the Creek Council House that have been so important for so many years.
Well, you talk about two landmarks, two staples of the community of Okmulgee. Okmulgee Memorial Hospital, the Council House. They were both addressed at this press conference last week for the Muskogee Creek Nation. George Tiger, Seneca Smith, members of the Council House Museum Association, all of them in attendance talking about this double whammy here. Got two big news announcements here. And so they talked first about the Okmulgee Memorial Hospital, the great things that they have in store there, and really how it's going to remain a community pillar, as we talked about earlier, and also a resolution to a sticky situation that we've had with the Council House and the auctioning off of some of these artifacts. According to this press conference, there is a resolution to this, and so we wanted to bring it to the citizens here. Not everybody maybe could have gotten out last week to the Council House lawn. That's the great thing about Native News Today. We're bringing it right here to your living room. Muskogee Creek Nation announcing some big plans. A historic week concluded with a historic day on the lawn of the Council House in downtown Okmulgee as the Muskogee Creek Nation gathered media for a double press conference to share two big announcements. The first, the acquisition of Okmulgee Memorial Hospital.
Today is just adding on to the resources that we feel is important to Muskogee Creek Nation and the city of Okmulgee. We're pleased today that we were able to work with the board, the authority board of the Okmulgee Memorial Hospital and the division of our health to come to an agreement to where the ownership of the Okmulgee Memorial Hospital will now be turned over to Muskogee Creek Nation.
It's exciting from just being a citizen of Okmulgee to hear and know about the plans that the nation has for health care for its people, and not only just its people, but the citizens of Okmulgee. That was something that was real important to us, that we maintain a community hospital for the whole community, and that's what's happened now. So this ends up being a win-win for everybody. That the nation's going to bring resources and the ability to do things for our community that we weren't able to do on a standalone basis as a sole community hospital. So I think it's the beginning of a new day. I think it's, as Chief said, it's appropriate. We're doing it here. I think Seneca and his groups to be congratulated. We've had a good working relationship, and I look forward to continuing that working relationship in the future as we go on from a community standpoint.
We're very excited about this opportunity that we have in front of us. As you already know, we have 6 facilities that spread across 11 counties of the Muskogee Creek Nation. We do currently have a hospital down in Okemah, and however, we feel that assuming this OMH, it expands our resources and the opportunities that we have. OMH does have a lot of opportunities and resources at this time, and we feel that we will be able to expand on those resources, expand into the care for the Muskogee Creek citizens and the community members of Okmulgee.
Chief Tiger also talked about the significance of having the press conference at the Council House.
I can remember, and Speaker Alexander and I talked about when we were young and small, how we used to run around on this lawn and how our elders took care of business upstairs. And at that time, even though the Muskogee Creek Nation didn't have the resources that we have today, they certainly laid the foundation for us that are elected officials today to carry on their vision. And I feel that it was appropriate that we come here.
The second part of the press conference focused on a resolution to an ongoing struggle to keep artifacts here at Muskogee Creek Nation. Together with the Council House Museum Association, the Muskogee Creek Nation announced a resolution to the matter. The artifacts and cultural items that were removed from the Council House are coming back to Okmulgee. They won't be up for sale at auction.
Yesterday we had a meeting in my office, and I want to tell you that we're able to make this announcement today. That through the efforts of the Muskogee Creek Nation and this board, the ability for us to preserve history, because as you know, there's no price tag for history and culture and tradition. It's priceless. We've came to an agreement that we're going to work together, and that through the efforts of both sides, that those artifacts will be brought back to where it belongs, and that's to Okmulgee, Oklahoma, and to the Muskogee Creek Nation.
We're here on the lawn of the historic Council House in downtown Okmulgee. I am with Principal Chief George Tiger. And Chief, other than Festival Week, I don't think weeks get much bigger at the Muskogee Creek Nation than the one we've just had.
Oh, it's really been a historic week. Of course, on Monday, the transfer of property from University of Oklahoma to Muskogee Creek Nation for the George and I Rehab Center. Today, taking over ownership of Okmulgee Memorial Hospital from the Hospital Authority Board of the City of Okmulgee. And so then to top it off with, I know, a very special topic for our citizens was the artifacts of the Muskogee Creek Nation that was housed in the Council House for many decades, and now we're owners of that, and so we're all pleased with that this week.
I know it's great because we look at all the beautiful renderings of the new health facilities and also the services they're going to provide, not only being good patrons to our citizens, but also good neighbors to the city of Okmulgee. As you said, nothing changes with this community hospital. It remains just that, a community hospital. And as it regards to the artifacts, Chief, I think we all thought that something would be resolved here. It's just a matter of when.
You know, Jason, you've heard me say it many times, just a matter of sitting across the table from each other. You know, with the hospital, you know, there's no sinking ships. You know, the waters are rising. In terms of what we're doing as Muskogee Creek Nation, we're working in partnerships with all the communities that we have shared jurisdictions with. So the artifacts, certainly, you know, we wanted to be able to have it in the hands that, you know, it should be in, and it's the Muskogee Creek people.
It's a great thing. It's a great day here, and wonderful news, wonderful conference for the Muskogee Creek Nation. Thank you so much, Principal Chief.
And that brings us to another conclusion of Native News today. As always, we thank you for joining us here this afternoon. We know you got a lot of choices out there, but you decided to make Native News today. And Jason, sometimes we're out on the highways and byways, as we mentioned earlier. A lot of the people out there say, hey, I never missed a program. We really appreciate it when you come up to us and bring us those great comments.
Absolutely. You know, there's lots of people out there that it's like their daily paper, only it comes in once a week. They're ready to watch Native News Today. You know, I think about some of our loyal viewers, Mr. Deerenwater in Bristow area, a great artist, and he took part in the art market actually there on the lawn of the council house, and he watches us all the time. And so, you know, these names just come forward that, and they'll tell you when you're walking around out there in the public, you know, keep up the great work. And we certainly love seeing stories about our people, stories about Indian people, done in a way sort of in a modern setting, I guess you could say, like a news show, and really not always covering Indian people on those news shows. That's what we're about. That's why we dedicate 30 minutes each week to just that.
Absolutely. And talking about some of those reports from the people that come up and talk to us, Miss Hennahall, that was one of the first news stories that we covered when she had received her home. Was so excited about getting that. I ran into her a couple of weeks ago and just wanted to say to us, just you know, that she appreciated covering that story, and that just good things have been happening to her since that time being in that home, and she was just happy about the whole situation.
Well, I look back too and I watch that story, and I see it every now and again, because when we have a big milestone episode, we'll throw out some clips from our very first episode. It's a little fun thing we like to do, but definitely seeing that first story. And the thing I like about that story, and I'm glad you bring that up, the thing I like about that story is it was the first thing we ever cut together to put on this show. It was the very first story. And that story epitomized, it may not be glossy and look real nice like we got it now. We were cutting our teeth. We were getting everything in place to where it is now. Exactly right. But the premise and the focus and the vision never changed from that very first story, which was about showing our people, one, showing what they're doing in their lives, and showing the great things that come from being a tribal citizen, and the pride and the support and the thing that they get from their communal system like that. And that's what Native News Today is about.
That's it right there. I need a Kleenex or something here. That pretty much said it right there. But always, again, we appreciate you joining us out there. We want to keep on bringing those great Native American stories to you. And as summer turns to fall, we know there's going to be some great other events happening out there. We look forward to covering those.
Check us out on the webpage. Check us out on Facebook and Twitter. Lots of ways to get with us, in a YouTube channel, MCN.com. Check us out there as well.
For our producer, Jared Moore, in the meantime, you all take care. God bless.
And we'll see you soon.